Last month, Marvel Rivals officially became 1 year old. We had a ton of characters come out, and we've had a ton of people make videos on the characters they want to see come to Marvel Rivals. I haven't made one of those videos yet, but I've made a lot of highlights videos. A couple of those had tier lists connected to them. This will be like a top 10 type of list, but not really, because these are just 10 characters I want to come to the game. There's no order to them. So yeah, I will be giving you the 10 characters I want to come, and maybe a little bit of their abilities that I've thought of, or not. Anyway, the first person I have on that I want to come to Marvel Rivals is Sandman, and I want him to be a Vanguard. So does everyone else. He's my favorite Sandman villain, mainly because he can morph his body and make his hands into anything, like a mace, a big fist, and like anything like that. So I feel like that he can incorporate that into his kit. His main attack will be a hand mace that he can just bash around like the thing where he just punches. Secondary attack, or his melee, he gets a big fist punch, which is kind of like I said, just like the thing. There's a couple other villains in here that I want, that are basically like the thing, because he's like my second, third, fourth, he's like my fourth tank. And then his first ability, his hand can go to the floor and he can move around, but also if people are on top of him, he can deal damage. Ability 2, Sand Clone. That's basically like his shield type of thing. It's also what I'm thinking is like Loki's clone type of thing, where he can set up a clone that has a little bit more damage, but like I'm just trying to use his sand ability into it. He can set up a clone like right in front of him, kind of like a shield, and so he can get away. Second ability, Sand Spray. Like he can use a sand spray to like kind of hurt them a little bit and like get in them, and then it like deals damage over time for a bit as the sand falls off of him. And then his ult, Big Sandman, kind of like in Spider-Man 2, he becomes big and then he can smash. I feel like that's a good ability. Maybe they could also be stuck to the ground after the smash a little bit. And then this is probably the only one that I have team ups for. Sandman and Storm, Sandstorm, Tornado type of thing, just like how Human Torch and Jeff work with her, just helps her ability. And he doesn't have to ult, he could just sand spray into it. Shang-Chi, he's the first one that I didn't know like what role to give him. But first I gave him Duelist, but then I saw Marvel Zombies show, and that he got bit in that show, but then one of the rings was, the one ring had to stay on his arm so he didn't become infected. And so that's why I think he could also be a strategist. Like you throw out, like he could be like Zenyatta and throw out a ring onto someone, and that could be healing them over time. The reason I want Shang-Chi is because it was one of my favorite post-Endgame movies. I did make a list of things for both, and his ult was going to be another ring type of thing. Rings would go out in a circle and heal as he meditates, kind of like the Iron Fist and Lunar Snow team up, where he meditates and then the rings are healing his allies. Now, if he is a duelist, his main ability will be shooting rings. Like as he punches, they're also shooting out. And yeah, his melee would be punches and kicks. Some of his abilities would be a ring whip, like he just like whips the ground and like grounds them or whatever, because they love their CC. Or his ability 2 would be ring barrage. He would just put both fists out, and then like the rings would barrage. And then his ult would be a ring saw. He has all the 10 rings go into a circle and he punches. Also, I'm going based off the MCU with the 10 rings. He may not have the 10 rings in the game. So yeah, that's what I based it on. Alright. And then now we have our second villain and our second Sinister Six member. The Lizard. He will be, I want him to be a strategist. He made himself a lizard after all. I know that was an accident, but he did that to heal his arm. A perfect strategist right there. If he just uses that same lizard stuff, but modifies it to where it doesn't actually turn people into lizards, I think that would be a fucking great thing. His melee would be a bite or a tail whip. One of those would be cool. His ability 1 would be a claw dash, to where he can just run away on all fours. Ability 2, a heal vial that throws down a pool of healing, like how Jeff, when he ults, he leaves a little pool behind, probably a Loki clone circle. He would get 3 of those that charge over time. Like, if he uses all 3, then it'll go on like a 5-second cooldown or whatever. And his ult, spinning tail move, where he just gets he'll just start spinning and his tail goes through. It's not a strategist ult. Wow. Yeah, I feel like that would be a good one. Now, number 4, MODOK. He's big, just like all the other characters in that thing. And he's a big guy. So I feel like he would be a Vanguard, no? His main attack would be a head laser. It would have an overheat mechanic where if he shoots it for too long, he overheats. Anyway, his melee would be a headbutt. He's a big ass head and his arms and legs are too small, so a headbutt would be the thing. Ability 1, a personal shield, where he can just shoot out a shield, that different thing to make his laser become a shield instead of, or it's like a magneto shield. I wrote these a couple days ago and don't know what I was thinking. Ability 2, an up boost, where he would shoot himself up, sending out damage with that fire that comes out. So if he's being hit by a thing, a Hulk, a Thor, or anything else, then he can just shoot up and send out damage, probably sending him back a little bit too. His ult, a huge laser blast in a single row, like if Blade were to stand still, then like in the zombie mode where he stands there and then his ult goes forward. That's kind of what I'm thinking for this big laser shoot forward type of thing. Or his ult would be a laser charge where he goes up in the air and then he shoots forward as the laser's going down in that row, hitting all in the area. Yeah. All right, Electro. He is I loved him in Spectacular Spider-Man, and I enjoyed him a little bit in The Amazing Spider-Man. And it would be cool to see him in this game. I said he's a duelist. His main ability is shoots electricity, doing little damage over time, and it also can, like Moon Knight, and also like Jean Grey, I guess. If other people are close by it, then it'll chain through. And then electrical burst. It's like Doctor Strange, so they could do the concept of where he has to get rid of this electricity, or if he has too much, then he can burst at random moments. So he's got to get rid of it before he bursts. And if he bursts, then he's kind of stunned a little bit. So if he doesn't get rid of, but that would kind of be bad. Because if he's on a big thing, then he bursts and then he's stunned for 2 seconds, then he could get killed. That's the whole skill of it. The more people you attach to, the more electricity you're burning off. So I guess that could be a passive and not an ability. Or if you do make it an ability, then it could be like I said, the Doctor Strange thing where he builds it up and then he can burst. Ability 2 will be his electrical getaway, where he turns into a lightning bolt and just scurries away. His ult would be kind of like a Wanda's, where he goes in and does an electrical explosion. Oh, and his team up, Extra Shock, he teams up with Storm and she gets yellow lightning and doing a little bit more damage. And now we're getting to the people that I just kind of put on here to fill out the 10, because 10 is a better number. Armor. She's a literal tank, so she's a Vanguard. Her main attack, obviously, punching. Ability 1, concussive burst, aka a stun, because she can do that in the comics, so it'll just fit. Ability 2, bullet bounce. She absorbs blasts for a short time, just so it can be the ability, and then she shoots it back after a little bit of time. And then her ult, like the Venom thing MVP, she can smash in a line. Rhino. He is also going to be a Vanguard. Wow, surprise, surprise. He's a big guy in a rhino suit, or he's a guy that was mutated into a rhino. Thanks, Craven. So, like I said, a lot of these are going to be thing. So, his main attack is punch. secondary attack will be a head poke. And then ability 1 is the charge. Kind of like the thing, but no slam. He can just run into people, hitting them like up or out of the way. Ability 2, super stomp. Send people around Rhino into the air. And then his ult, he runs around in a circle, bashing his head around, hitting all inside. So, like a healer ult, he'll just run around and bashing his head around, hitting the people inside. Or a circle slam, where he runs up, and then he comes down and does a big amount of damage. Like Bucky, I guess, but no again. Alright, number 8, Cyclops, another duelist. Jean freaking Grey is in the game, so it would be a missed opportunity if they never add Cyclops, which they will, because they have the whole catalog of Marvel. And also, apparently, they're open to me making their own, which I hope they don't, because they have the whole fucking catalog of Marvel. His main attack will be a laser, overheat, like MODOK. I don't know what other abilities he'd have, honestly. In melee will be punches, I guess. I don't know any other abilities for him. I only have his ultimate ability, which is kind of like in the X-Men 97, where he just shoots a big-ass laser in front of him. Alright, finally, to a strategist. And I want to say Green Goblin. You can't have a Spider-Man without a Green Goblin. Spider-Man 3 is gonna have Green Goblin. So, yeah. And you, like, it's Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn's been in all 3, so that's, like, basically Green Goblin. His main attack will be pumpkin bombs that heal, team, and damage enemies. I feel like that's pretty good. He's also a flying strategist. A good flying strategist, I might add. Ability 1, Glider Dash. His getaway, or he can hit enemies in his path. And you're dropping bombs behind you too. His passive, like Junkrat, he drops bombs after he dies. I feel like that would be fucking awesome. Ability 2, Big Bomb. A big bomb shoots out from the front of the board. Like he just does a couple things on his board and poof. That would be kind of cool. I feel like that's a thing that would happen. And with Ant-Man in the game, Ant-Man could have been bad on this alternate Earth, and then, yeah, that could be in his lore. And then his ult, Goblin Bomber, he flies overhead, dropping bombs on enemies that deal damage and or heals allies. And then my final one is Doc Ock. He will be a Vanguard. He's a smart and strong fella. He's also huge. He'll walk on 2 legs, like 2 of the robotic legs, and then 2 to make himself bigger. His main attack will be a tentacle attack like Venom, but it'll just be like those 2. Melee, tentacle swipe, where he'll swipe the tentacles as like his melee. Ability 1, Claw Shield. Depending on how big his pincers are, he can like make it big, or his whole tentacle can spin to make a shield, but that's also like 1 arm that he's missing. So ability 2, lasers shoot out of his arms. Like there's this little circle there and he can like shoot out maybe. And then his ult, Piercing Tentacle, where one of his tentacles shoots out, keeping them in place for a little while, just like how Groot's thing and Doctor Strange, they all have CC ults. So those are the 10 people I want to come to Marvel Rivals. Tell me what you think about my choices, and if you think that they would fit in a much better role, what would they fit in? And like give me an explanation on why would they be in that role better. And then also maybe give me some abilities that Cyclops would have. Without further ado, I'm gonna go play some more Marvel Rivals and think of more characters I want to add to the game. Also, I think Season 6 is right around the corner. Or Season 6 is here. If you like this video, go ahead and click this playlist of all my Marvel Rivals related content, and then click here for the latest video, and then click here to subscribe. Peace.